Welcome guys! Welcome back to another video. Welcome to Miko's Corner. I hope you have a great day. Today, first of all, we're coming back to Russia. History of Russia Part 2, Round 2. We're ready, a little bit of a disclaimer, guys, a little bit of announcements. I started another channel. This time, I'm gonna do a channel reacting to music. You know what? Minko's Musical Corner is back live. Oh, it's live, first of all, not back live, but yeah. So if you want me to see, you want to see me reacting to music videos, go subscribe. Link will be in the description and on my channel page. So yeah, a little bit of a promo here. Starting great things. This is the year, guys. This is the year, 2022. It's my year. So yeah, I'm very excited. But I'll still continue both channels. Don't worry. I'll still do this one and the other one. And if things sync up, if people come, if you like me guys enough, I'll maybe even start Twitch. So subscribe, like, and all that. Today we're doing History of Russia Part 2. I'm very excited. Let's go.
In 1612, Russia was in a state of anarchy. They called it the Time of Troubles. The people were terrorized by war, famine, and plague. Up to a third of them perished. Foreign troops occupied Moscow, Smolensk, and Novgorod. But then, Russia fought back. Prince Pozharsky and a merchant, Kuzma Minin, led the Russian militia to Moscow.
Whoa, what?
And threw out the Polish garrison. Since 2005, this event has been commemorated every 4th of November as Russian National Unity Day.
No way! Look at Putin walking all swag like, the Romanovs. Here they are. Here they come. 1613.
The Russian Assembly, the Zemsky Sabor, realized the country had to unite behind a new ruler and elected a 16-year-old noble, Mikhail Romanov, as the next Tsar.
That's interesting.
His
Someone
dynasty
new,
would rule
fresh face and all that.
Russia.
I think one of the reasons, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons why they elected someone young was because there won't be any old grudges. He'll be, a new, fresh face for Russia.
For the next 300 years.
23 years.
Tsar Mikhail exchanged territory for peace, winning Russia much-needed breathing space.
Okay.
His son, Tsar Alexei, implemented a new legal code, the Sabornoye Uluzhenie. It turned all Russian peasants, 80% of the population, into serfs,
yeah, what the
effectively
fuck was that
slaves.
about?
Their status inherited by their children, and with no freedom to travel or choose their master.
And nobody talks about it, though.
It was a system that dominated Russian rural life for the next 200 years. The head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Nikon, imposed religious reforms that split the church between reformers and old believers. It's a schism that continues to this day.
No way, really? Old believers? They have long beards? What the hell?
Ukrainian Cossacks, rebelling against the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, recognized Tsar Alexei as overlord in exchange for his military support. It led to the 13 Years' War between Russia and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth.
Never heard about it.
Russia emerged victorious, reclaiming Smolensk and taking control of eastern Ukraine. A revolt against Tsarist government, led by a renegade Cossack, Stenka Razin, brought anarchy to southern Russia. It was finally suppressed. Razin was brought to Moscow and executed by quartering.
Oh, brutal.
The sickly but highly educated Fyodor III passed many reforms. He abolished Mesnichestva, the system that had awarded government posts according to nobility rather than merit, and symbolically burned the ancient books of rank.
Damn.
But Fyodor died aged just 19. His sister Sophia became Princess Regent, ruling on behalf of her younger brothers, the joint Tsars Ivan V and Peter I. After centuries of conflict, Russia and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth signed a Treaty of Eternal Peace. Russia then joined the Holy
I like those eternal pieces that last like 5 years.
League in its war against the Ottoman Empire. Sophia's reign also saw the first treaty between Russia and China, establishing the frontier between the two states.
1689? That's some long history. Peter the Great. Here we go. Here we go, man. And we're gonna, I think, Peter the Great is in the same timeline as Charles XII of Sweden, where the Swedish Empire collapses. And there's a very popular video on him.
At age 17, Peter I seized power from his half-sister Sophia.
Yeah, internal combat.
Peter became the first Russian ruler to travel abroad. He toured Europe with his Grand Embassy, seeking allies for Russia's war against Turkey, and learning the latest developments in science and shipbuilding.
Yeah, and he built St. Petersburg.
The war against Turkey was successfully concluded by the Treaty of Constantinople. Russia gained Azov from Turkey's ally, the Crimean Khanate, and with it, a foothold on the Black Sea. Peter made many reforms, seeking to turn Russia into a modern European state.
Yeah.
He demanded Russian nobles dress and behave like Europeans.
He
made those who refused to shave pay a beard tax.
Jesus Christ, I think he was kind of jealous of the Europeans. He was like in awe by their lifestyle and their clothes and their Renaissance.
Peter built the first Russian navy, reformed the army and government, and promoted industry, trade, and education.
How many years? 36.
In the Great Northern War, Russia, Poland, Lithuania, and Denmark took on the dominant power in the Baltic. Sweden.
Yeah.
The war began badly for Russia with a disastrous defeat to Charles XII of Sweden at Narva.
Charles XII.
But Russia won a second Battle of Narva, before crushing Charles XII's army at the Battle of Poltava.
Yeah. Charles XII
on the Baltic coast, Peter completed construction of a new capital, St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
The building of what would
he wasn't a megalomaniac or anything.
Become Russia's second largest city among coastal marshes was a remarkable achievement.
I hope to go
though
there
it cost
one
the
day.
lives of many thousands of serfs. The Great Northern War ended with the Treaty of Neustadt. Russia's gains at Sweden's expense made it the new dominant Baltic power.
Okay.
4 years before his death, Peter was declared Peter the Great, father of his country, emperor of all the Russians.
I mean, he did a lot, He did a lot. He built a new city. He gained 2 ports that were very important for the Russians. One in St. Petersburg in the Baltics, and one in the Black Sea. Very important for trade and for war. He built the navy. He built the army. He passed so many reforms. He gained territory. Of course, there's the 4 Empresses. Is this where Catherine comes along? Catherine the Great?
Peter was succeeded by his wife Catherine.
No.
Then his grandson Peter II, who died of smallpox, aged just 14. Empress Anna Ivanovna, daughter of Peter the Great's half-brother Ivan V, was famed for her decadence and the influence of her German lover Ernst Biron.
She's chubby as well. She must have had a great time.
During Anna's reign, Vitus Bering, a Danish explorer in Russian service, led the first expedition to chart the coast of Alaska.
Whoa! Oh,
he also discovered the Aleutian Islands,
and
later gave his name to the sea that separates Russia and America.
I mean, that's one way to say immortalized, forever. Because, some people are conquerors, they conquer, empires, but how long do those empires last? 100 years? 200? 300? Not so long. But, you name a sea after you. No matter who rules, they'll use your name. So you're in a way immortalized forever. That's interesting. Vitus
After
Bering.
Anna's death, her infant grandnephew Ivan VI
Yeah, he didn't
was
last,
deposed by Peter the Great's daughter, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Ivan VI spent his entire life in captivity. Until age 23, he was murdered by his guards during a failed rescue attempt.
Ouch. Must suck.
Elizabeth, meanwhile, was famed for her vanity, extravagance, and many young lovers. But she was also capable of decisive leadership. In alliance with France and Austria, Elizabeth led Russia into the 7 Years' War against Frederick the Great of Prussia.
Didn't work
The
out.
Russian army inflicted a crushing defeat on Frederick at the Battle of Kunersdorf, but failed to exploit its victory.
And like the person who comes after her ends up liking the Germans, so he doesn't like take advantage. Like what the fuck? What a pussy.
Meanwhile, in St. Petersburg, the Winter Palace was completed at vast expense.
That's gorgeous. You know, some people might say vast expense. You know, the peasants paid for it. Yeah, maybe peasants died, dude. Who gives the fuck? Look at this beauty.
It would remain the monarch's official residence right up until the Russian Revolution
That's
of
gorgeous.
1917.
It is one of the most beautiful buildings ever.
Peter III was Peter the Great's grandson by his elder daughter Anna Petrovna, who died as a consequence of childbirth. Raised in Denmark, Peter spoke hardly any Russian and greatly admired Russia's enemy, Frederick the Great. So he had Russia swap sides in the 7 Years' War, saving Frederick from almost certain defeat. Peter's actions angered.
It's fucking insane how history, hinges on those moments. What if the chick Elizabeth survived another 3 years? Frederick the Great wouldn't be the Great. Prussia wouldn't be the major power in Europe, at least the major German power.
Many army officers, and he'd always been despised by his German wife Catherine.
Why?
Together, they deposed Peter III, who died a week later in suspicious circumstances. His wife Catherine became Empress of Russia.
What?
Her reign would be remembered as one of Russia's most glorious.
Catherine the Great was German? I didn't know that. He said his German wife despised him. Why? Was he weak? One of the greatest Russian rulers is not even Russian? What the hell? We'll learn about it next time, I guess. Yeah, this was an incredible video, guys. Very good, very good. Once again, epic history. Go support the channel, subscribe, like, and all that. But yeah, go subscribe, man. Go check this channel out. I hope you like my reaction. My thoughts on this was basically, Russia was going into a golden age in the 19th century. 19th, 20th century especially. And then the First World War destroyed it. Russia now is a shell of itself. I'm sorry. I know I have a large Russian audience, the Svidania, but it is a shell of itself. Economically, politically, when you compare Russia, the Russian Empire in 1914, and how much they've lost, it sucks. It sucks to be them, but it is what it is. Anywho, I hope you liked my reaction. If you did, like, subscribe, and all that. Go check my other channel out, and see you guys next time.